A workshop or a education session twice every year. We did one already on topics earlier this year, and tonight we're doing one on evaluation. There's a team of from the ASC. We send a team of people around all the different clubs explaining all about evaluation. So I've been to a couple of those already. So I'm going to summarise it tonight, what evaluation is all about. So why do we do evaluation? Well, it's constructive analysis. It's giving advice and encouragement and praising people. It's not criticism. We don't criticise, we're there to give advice. The main idea of evaluation is to tell people how well they've done and how they can do it even better, how good their speech is, and how they can make the speech even better than it is already. So even just standing up in front of people can be intimidating to a lot of people. So to actually stay standing up and to give a speech in itself deserves praise. So we start off praising them, and then we give them encouragement and advice on how they can do it even better. So begin with praise and end with advice. That's a guideline on doing evaluations. Even the worst speeches have got something worth praising, so find that thing and praise them for doing that, and then tell them how they can improve for the next time, and they'll get better with time. And the reason we have different evaluators coming up to evaluate is because it's good to be able to evaluate somebody else's speech. You learn yourself what to look for. So we take turns in evaluating. In everyday life, what makes a good speech? We sometimes say, oh, that was a really good speech. You know, if it's an after-dinner speech or political speech or award ceremony, somebody gets up and gives a thank you speech. Some of them are really good. Has anybody got any thoughts on what makes a speech a good speech?
Humour.
Humour, yeah. That's probably one of the biggest ones. People laugh, everyone thinks it's a really good speech.
The change in tone when the person's talking from light to shade.
Yeah,
Makes
voice, variation in voice, yeah. So it's all things like that which make a speech a good speech. What about speeches that you just turn off? You find it so dull, you don't want to listen to them, it's boring. Why do you think that about a speech?
No structure.
No structure.
Jobs around.
Yeah, exactly. Bad delivery. This could be bland, monotonous tone. None of the skills that we learn here have been put into practice. So it comes over as a bad speech. Might be talking about something wonderful, a really good subject, how you're looking forward to hearing about it, but they put it over in such a drab way that it's not interesting. It's a bad speech. So it's delivery, the way you do it, the way you deliver the speech. The lack of vocal variety, dry delivery. So the way we do evaluating is you don't need to give your opinions on the content of it, you just give your opinions on the way it was delivered, not the content. And each speech should contain some elements of the previous levels. So if someone's doing an A6, it should contain some elements of A1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So pick out some of those, say, oh, you did some good gestures there, this one and that one, whatever. And a good phrase, pick a couple of good phrases. So that works their way up to level 6, so they have to continue doing some of the other elements as well. And don't be daunted if you're evaluating somebody who you consider is more experienced than yourself, because this might happen. You might pick up on some things that they've forgotten about and they've become complacent about, and they'll be glad that you've pointed it out to them. So, and address the speaker indirectly. Don't say, you did that wrong, you didn't do this. No, it's the speaker did this, the speaker did that. So the way you have to do it is start off with a praise. The speaker had some really good gestures. I particularly like this gesture and I like that gesture. So pick up on some gestures. The phrase and the word picture about the beach was wonderful. And the way she described a bicycle wheel was a really good gesture. So do all that sort of thing. Engage with the audience. Someone laughed. Maybe it was a good engagement with the audience, a bit of audience rapport. You can say, you made the subject matter interesting in the way you portrayed it. I've actually learned something today. So do all that sort of thing, praise them. Good clear voice, pleasant to listen to. Maybe they had a good memorable ending. So tell them that. Say you had a really good, memorable ending. Every time I think of this, I'm going to think of your speech. That's what you have to do in evaluation. And then you pick the points that weren't so good, the learning points, but only choose one or two. Any more than that, and it comes over as criticism and put them off. So maybe the way the hands about too much, or got hands in their pockets, or they spend too much time looking at the notes instead of eye contact, or maybe they talk too fast and they could slow it down a bit. But don't, if they've done all of that in their speech, don't tell them all of that. Just pick out the main two and tell them that. Then they can learn for the next time. The next speech, somebody else, whoever is evaluating them, will pick up on the other points. So the idea is to encourage them and then advise them how they can do better, but in easy stages. So basically, that's the official ASC stuff. That's what they recommend. Right, now in the club, realistically, it boils down to what the evaluator's personal interests are really, and what their opinion is. And the evaluators often differ. One person can think, oh, that was a really good speech. Maybe the other person doesn't like it. And evaluators often not disagree, but have a difference of opinion as to whether someone did a good speech or not. And maybe if someone's doing a speech on Polynesian pottery or shoelace making techniques or something, which you know nothing about, well, you might find it a bit dull. But that doesn't matter, because it's the way they explain the speech, the way they put it over, that matters. And also in the club, knowledge of the speaker's personal capabilities and limitations has to be taken into consideration. It won't be in the contest with other districts and national people, because they don't know you. But in the club where we know you, you take into account people's personal limitations and capabilities. There's few people come here because they want to become a television presenter or a member of parliament. If they do, well, you probably go to a professional speech coach and learn it properly. And also, you don't come here to lose your accent or your dialect. And we've got speakers clubs in Scotland, Newcastle, Liverpool, and all their speakers speak with really strong Scottish accents and Geordie accents and Scouse accents. They don't want to lose their accents, they just want to be able to stand up and comfortably speak confidently in the accent they've got. And we have people from other countries as well who have got some lovely accents, and that's all part of their unique identity and personality, their accent. So they don't want to lose it, they just want to use it to the best, so they can stand up and give a speech using that personality and that accent. So that's what we're trying to do. So we encourage them to do that. Improve their confidence. Learn the tricks of the trade. If everybody had to reach the standard of a television presenter, nobody would ever get past A2. So the first few levels up to about A4, you're still learning how it all works and learning what's expected of you. And then it suddenly clicks into place. Oh yeah. But by A5, you're supposed to have a reasonable level of competence, because it's difficult to get past your A5 because you get a certificate for it. And to get a certificate, we have to apply to the ASC, the Association of Speakers Clubs, and your certificate, and tell them that someone's achieved an A5. And your certificates get signed by the national president and the national education director. They send it to us and we present it to you. So it's no easy feat. Excuse me. You also get one for reaching the dizzy heights of A10, like John Crawford did earlier. And that takes longer. Next we've got evaluation competition, which is partly why we did this workshop tonight, to prepare for the competition. In evaluation competitions, you get 70% of the marks for what we've done to what we've been talking about now, advice and encouragement of the speaker. But 30% of it, the other 30%, is for the way you present your evaluation in an interesting way, using gestures and good voice control. This person did really well. If you're a bit more animated, you get marks for that in the competition. So next week, or 2 weeks' time, when we have the competition, do it in a nice, entertaining way when you do your evaluation, because 30% of the marks are for the way you do it. The other 70 are for the advice and learning points that you've given. Again, all that is more important when you're not in the club, when you're doing it in the area and the district competitions where people don't know you. What don't you like about evaluation? Does everybody like doing evaluations? They're all flocking to come up here and do one. Why? Why don't you like it?
I think you're afraid of it, you know. I think people have to be honest, but in a nice way. And sometimes I feel that isn't always the case.
Okay. It's a bit embarrassing, maybe.
It might hurt people's feelings.
Some people just don't like giving negative feedback to other people.
So you give the positive feedback, all those wonderful things, advice and
It's learning points.
praise and everything. It's just a learning points bit, at the end. So you can, it's easy to tell everybody how good they were, but it's the learning points that are difficult. That's right. So try and give them all the learning points first before you tell them that they're going to go through to the next level, because then they'll listen to you. If you just say, yeah, you passed, they might not listen to all the learning points, so do the learning points first, and then tell them later how well they've done. But don't say, that was okay, but I'm sorry to tell you, you failed. You don't do that. You just say, that speech was really, I really enjoyed it. You really put a lot of effort into it. But you've got such a good voice, and you didn't use it to its, you could use it even better by doing more word pictures, and maybe speak louder, use more of the vocal vocabulary. And then it'll be a magnificent speech. I'd like to hear you do it again, but so much, use your voice more. You're lucky to have such a good voice. Do that sort of thing, positive, not criticism, positive advice. Avoid demoralising them so they feel a failure, and don't go home and not come back again. I mean, that's not the point, is it? You don't want to do that. It's only fun. We're learning something, but we're also having fun while we're learning it. I had to redo my A5 and my A8, which is humour. Even though I do stand-up comedy sometimes, I couldn't get my A8 humour. I had to redo it. When I did my A10 a few weeks ago, I was told to redo that as well. Very few people go all the way up to A10 without having to redo any of them. And a lot of it depends how good you are when you first start the programme. And also if you get the opportunity to practice in between our fortnightly meetings, you get an opportunity to practice. It helps as well.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
If you remember a fortnight ago, Dan's speech about Go Get It, he said failure is success. By failing, you learn more and you don't do it again. So failing, if you don't really fail, it helps you to be successful.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
called impact. My speech impacted you, Dorothy.
Oh, you're there. See, I just think you were here. Oh, wow.
I remember that too. It's very sound like that.
Yeah.
I never consider any of this failure. You just know you're learning.
Yes, you're learning.
People are telling you.
Don't make mistakes, you won't learn, will you? No, absolutely.
They make allowances at the beginning because people are learning, but later on you don't have allowances made because you're expected to be a higher level then after A5. But other people might disagree with that. That's my personal opinion. So, in conclusion, evaluations are passing on the skills you've already learnt yourselves, and remember that you begin with praise, which is the easy bit, telling them how well they've done, and then end with advice, which is just a couple of learning points, providing you let them go through. But if you don't, well, you have to explain a bit more. Your aim is to help and encourage the speaker to become an even better speaker than they are already.